What's up, guys? It's Kayla here. And well, let's read. Welcome back to our channel. Before we get started, click that subscribe and turn on all post notifications and give us a huge thumbs up. Today we're going to be reading chapter 4 of There's a Boy in the Girls' Bathroom. Here we go. Bradley stood at the front door and hollered, "Miss Apple is a liar! Don't believe anything she tells you!" Bradley's mother got into the car, grinded her teeth, and drove to school. She was just as afraid as Bradley, if not more so, of what Miss Apple would tell her. She wanted to believe Bradley when he told her he was getting all A's or was elected class president. She tried to fool herself that it could be true, even though she knew it couldn't. She knew her son, and she knew Miss Apple wouldn't take the trouble to call her on the phone if everything were really as wonderful as Bradley said it was. As Bradley said it was. Still, she hoped. She opened the door to Bradley's classroom. No one was there. "Hello?" She called out timidly. She looked around. There was a bulletin board covered with A papers. She looked from one paper to another and hoped with all her heart that she'd see one with Bradley's name on it. She didn't. In the back corner of the room, she saw a chart that listed each name of every student in the class. Next to each name was a row of golden stars. Next to Bradley Chalkers, there were no stars. Mrs. Chalkers? Startled, she turned around to see Miss Apple. "Oh, you scared me," she said, then smiled. Mrs. Apple didn't smile. Mrs. Chalkers sat at a chair next to the teacher's desk and bravely listened as Miss Apple told her about Bradley. There was nothing. Miss Apple said that she didn't really know. That she didn't already know. Still, it hurt to hear it. Deep down, he is a really good boy, she tried to tell Bradley's teacher. "I'm sure he has lots of good qualities," said Mrs. Apple. "However, I have 28 other children in my class, and I can't spend all my time trying to help Bradley." As he decided whether he wants to be a part of the class or not, and if he doesn't want to be a part of the class, then he shouldn't be here. He just makes it that much harder for everyone else. "What can I do?" asked Bradley's mother. "The school has just hired a new counselor," said Miss Apple. Sorry about that noise. "I'd like your permission for Bradley to begin seeing her once a week." "Anything that will help my son," said Mrs. Chalkers. "I don't know if she can help him or not," said Mrs. Apple. "Bradley has a very serious behavior problem. If he doesn't show his improvement soon, more drastic measures will have to be taken." "Deep down, he is a really good boy," said Bradley's mother. "Well, let's go meet the counselor," said Mrs. Apple. She led Bradley's mother down the halls to the counselor's office. The door was open, but no one was there. "Hold on, I have to ask my brother something." Then after you this one. Bradley's mother stepped into the room. Boxes were everywhere. Some were were turned over with their contents half spilled onto the floor. A yellow ladder lay on its side. In the center of the room was a round table surrounded by chairs, but the table and chairs were covered with papers, boxes, and games and books. There was hardly room for Bradley's mother and teacher to stand. She's just moving in, Miss Abel explained. I'm sure she'll have it cleaned up by tomorrow. Miss Chalkers shrugged. She picked up a dolphin puppet from an open box on the table and put her hand inside it. Suddenly there was a loud grunt and a young woman entered the room. She dropped the box. She was carrying more than 100 crayons spilled across the floor. Oh, hello, she said. She was a lot younger than either Mrs. Abel or Mrs. Chalkers. She wore blue jeans and a red t-shirt with rock and roll written across it and light blue letters. She had light brown hair, almost blonde, and clear blue eyes. I'm Carla Davis, she said, and held out her hand. Bradley's mother stared at her a moment, then reached out to shake her hand, but suddenly realized she was still wearing the dolphin puppet. She quickly removed it and put it back in the box on the table. The counselor smiled. She needs to sign the form so that you can start seeing her son, said Mrs. Abel. Miss Davies looked hopeless around her office. They're around here somewhere, she muttered, then began carrying the boxes. Perhaps I'd better come back, said Bradley's mother. Found them, said the counselor, holding up the forms. She cleared a space on the round table by pushing away a box and gave Mrs. Chalkers a form to sign. Then say that to the camera. She reminds me of a chocolate bar. Bradley's mother looked around the messy office, then at the young woman with the rock and roll t-shirt. She shrugged her shoulders and signed her name. Miss Davis took the form from her. Oh, you're Bradley Chalkers' mother. Mrs. Chalkers nodded. You would not believe all the horror stories I've heard about Bradley Chalkers, said the new counselor. I've been here less than 3 hours, but it seems like every teacher in the school has dropped by to keep warning me about him. Deep down he is, Bradley's mother started to say. I can't wait to meet him, the counselor interrupted. He sounds charming, just delightful. Well, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you give us a huge thumbs up, click subscribe, and turn on all post notifications. See you guys next time. Bye! Come back for chapter 5. Say bye, Ben. Bye. Bye, Miss Abel. Bye. Bye, Miss Davis. Bye, Mrs. Chalkers. Bye, Bradley. / Mrs. Chocolate. And bye. see you next time for chapter 5, if you come. Bye.